welcome to my channel. In this video, I will show you the spaghetti model prepared with cotton copper thread on Pinterest. I will share a very nice bag recipe that is sold by a few famous brands. I want to show you the model closely. Look, it is a very stylish piece. If you want, you can use it daily. You can also use it. It looks really great. When it is installed, look at it. I want to show it on the edges like this. Let's look at the other side. It is a very beautiful piece. Look, the inside is like this. It's quite deep inside, and your wallet, phone, keys, etc. will easily fit inside. Look, I use such an accessory. If you want to use it longer, you can make long hangers with a chain like this or your own rope. Or you can use it in different ways, on long straps or on different handles to hold it in your hand. It is completely up to your taste. I shared all the details with you in the video. I used a ball of yarn for my bag, and all the details and measurements are also available in the video. I hope it will be a useful content. I would like to make a request. I would be really happy if you could subscribe to our channel for free, like the video, and leave your comments. Let's move on to our recipe. I will use Spaghetti Yarn's cotton macrame yarn to knit my bag. The texture looks like this closely. My rope is 2 millimeters thick. My crochet number will be 5.50 millimeters. You can determine your own crochet number according to the thinness and thickness of your own yarn and the tightness and looseness of your knitting. We first start with the magic ring. If there are beginners among us, how to make a magic ring? I have shared the detailed video before. I will add the link to the description section of our video. You can access it by clicking there. Look, we are pulling a chain here while creating the ring. Now we remove the loop by sinking into the ring. We have 2 stitches. We are filling up. We knit single needles by passing both of them through. In this way, we will knit 8 single crochet stitches in total. Let's knit together right away. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. After knitting our 8 single needles, we close this middle part by pulling the short rope remaining from the magic ring to the point we can pull it. Then, without doing any combination, look directly at the first one. Look, it looks like a spike. There are 8 single crochet points. We insert our hook directly into the top of the first single crochet. Since I want to hide the short yarn, I use it on crochet. I remove the loop from this point. Look, I'm immediately creating the first single crochet. I'm filling up. I knitted my first single needle. That is the first single crochet of the second row. Now in the second row, we will increase our number to 16 by inserting 2 stitches into each single crochet. I come to the same void again. For the second time, I dip into the same space, take out the stitch and knit my single crochet. Then I come to another space, come to the top of another single crochet and knit 2 single crochets. Now I will repeat this process for each of them. At this stage, if you think I knitted too fast, you can slow down the video or on the contrary, watch it by speeding it up. Next, we will have a total of 16 single crochets. Look, let's complete this point together. Let's not cut it at all. We are approaching the end of the row. I am double crocheting each one. Look, I mean 2 single crochets. After you have 16 single crochets, look, the end point is already quite obvious. This is our 8th last single needle. I'm dropping 2 drops into this right away. No need to use locators here, just look at this. I have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16 double crochet stitches. Now I am coming to the top of the first single crochet. We have hidden the short thread long enough. I will leave it here. Then we will cut off the remaining thread and remove it from this point. I'm done. Now we're going to set up the model. I go up with a 2, 3, 4 chain. I fill it with a crochet hook once or twice. I immediately work on our model in the top space where the first single needle is. I come to this space, I removed a stitch. We have 4 stitches. I fill them, I wrap them together again, I knit them together. I leave the other 2 stitches waiting again, 1 or 2. I fill it once, dip it in the same gap, and look, I first stuck the needle in vain and removed the stitch. Now we have 2, 4, 5 stitches. The only thing we need to do is when we remove the loop, I wrap them together again, we knit them together and let the other stitch wait. Look, there are 3 stitches. Wrap it twice again, dip it in the same space and put them both together. I'm knitting. I'm waiting for the 4th stitch. Now when we started with 4 chains. We will accept this as a banister leg. We will have 7 legs in total. There were 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we complete this to 7. We crochet twice. We come to the same space, remove the stitch, knit 2 or 2, and let it sit. We went around it twice, we dipped again, took off the stitch, knitted it twice, and let it sit. Look, we have 2, 4, 6 legs. Now we are doing the 7th. We made a loop, we knitted 2, 2, and waited for the result. Now we initially accept a handrail foot at the chain point. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now I am filling all the stitches. I collected it in one go. After collecting it, look, I'm pushing it out from the wrong side like this. I gathered all the stitches to have such a light ball look. Now at this point, I'm pulling a chain or 2. I fill it up twice again. What we do now is much easier. Now see here, I'm skipping the next single crochet point. I skip 1 single crochet and sink another. We will skip 1 single crochet. Look, we made a loop by sinking into each other. We knitted it as 2, 2. We went around it again twice. Look at the same single crochet. We started the first frequent needle. Skip 1 single crochet and repeat the same procedure to another single crochet. We will skip 1 single crochet and repeat the same process on the next one. Now, since there is no chain here, we repeat the same operations. We create our banister legs by wrapping them around twice. Look, there will be 7 legs. You can count your sunset points one by one. Look, 2, 4, 5. Now I fill 6 2 times and create the 7th banister leg. Look, let's count 2, 4, 6, 7. We have 2, 4, 6, 8 stitches in total. Now I gathered all these stitches at once. As I said, I push it from the inside to the outside to get the ball look. And now here I make 1 or 2 chains and wrap them around 2 times, leaving a gap, and look at the other one. I add a single needle, sinking into the other one, and knitting 22 stitches again 7 times. Look, I repeat this process so I get 7 banister legs. Such big corn. I get popcorn pops. Now we will have 8 popcorns in total. Let's come to the end of the line. Let us share with you the ending and the beginning right at the end of the row. We prepared our points 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I collected all the stitches. I'm pulling my 2 chains again. And look, I'm sinking to the point where the first chain we pulled is right here. I took out the loop. Look, we are tying it to the first point, and I have attached it to this point with the slide. Now, by pulling a chain, this is the first thing we have done. Look, the point where we sink right at the ball, we knit 3 single crochets to the point where the chain is. 1 in the same space, 2 in the same space, 3. Look, 3 stitches on the top of this ball, single needle. Then I sink into the chain space left in between. 1 single crochet. Then I come to my second ball. And look at this right away, not this part of the chained point. Look at the chain this way. After collecting the stitches, we sink into the chain we pulled. 3 single crochet stitches, 1. 2. And 3. Right after that into the gap. 1 single needle. More, we knit 3 single needles at the tops and proceed like this until the end of the row. Look, we have come to the end of our row. We are knitting a single needle in our last intermediate space. We started with 3 single needles. I immediately sink into the top of the first single needle and remove the stitch. I slide the stitch from the waiting stitch, then 1 or 2. By pulling 3 or 4 chains, we now move on to building the model we created in the first row. Now by wrapping it twice, I sink into the point where the first single crochet is and create my banister legs. I fill up twice. By adding 2 by 2, I will create 7 banister legs, including the first one. 2, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Look, we have created 7 banister legs. I collect all the stitches as in the first row, then I draw a chain or 2 again, wrap them twice and add a single needle again. I sink into the other one. Look, it is exactly the same as the modeled row we made in the first row. Then look again. I continue the same process, wrapping it twice and making it 7. I have 1 handrail foot, 16, 2, 4, 6, and 7. Look, now I have gathered all the stitches at once. 1, 2 chain, that is, I repeat the same process here as I am doing now. I complete it twice. After the 2 chains, I leave 1 single crochet and insert it into the other, creating the same model again. Look, in this order, we started with the first of our single needles, skipping one by one, skipping to the next one, and working to the next. We complete this row in this way. Look, we completed this row. We get 16 popcorns in total, the last 16. After making the year, there is only 1 single needle remaining. We have drawn our 2 chains. Now, look at the first point, as in the bottom row. After collecting the stitches, we sink to the top of the chain stitch and remove the loop. By sliding the stitch we remove from the waiting stitch, we combine our row. Again, we go up with a chain and insert 3 stitches into this gap, as in the bottom row. We knit 2 single needles, 2 or 3, then 1 single needle in between, then look at the top of the next point, dip into this point and knit 3 single needles, 1, 2, and 3, and 1 single needle in between. That is, by repeating the exact same process as we did in the bottom row to the end of the row. We move forward until we reach the end of our row. We knit a single crochet in the middle space. We sink to the top of the first single crochet we started with, remove the stitch and shift it. We go up with a chain of 1, 2, 3, 4 and wrap it around twice, setting up our model at the point where the first single crochet is. By wrapping it around twice, look at the same example as popcorn. We will complete the example. We have a difference here. In the last row, we created 2, 4, 5, 6, 7 handrail legs. Let's remember that we counted the first one as a chain, 2, 4, 6, 7. After collecting all the stitches, in this order, 1, 2, 3 chain. Look, we increased it to 3. We fill our chain twice. Now we cast 2 single crochets. We start knitting our third railing legs by skipping not 1 single crochet but 1 or 2 single crochets. This is our last row. We will have 19 such popcorns. If you want, you can enlarge it by 4 rows or 5 rows. With this logic, as long as it does not fluctuate like this, you can continue to increase it as long as you get a decent image. As I said, you can also make this bag bigger. Now we are in this last row. Our chain increased to 3. We will continue creating our popcorn like this by skipping 2 single crochet stitches. We will continue until we have 19 popcorns in total. Afterwards, we will move on to creating the handle part. Now look, we have obtained our third row here with a total of 19 such popcorns. At this point it will be the point where our ring will come, that is our stem will come, so we leave this place empty, but if you want you can continue and make it 1 more row larger. Now I will tell you the diameter of our bag in centimeters. Look, it is 20 centimeters in diameter. We will have obtained a bag. The diameter of my handle is 10 centimeters. It is also worth mentioning this. Now look here, after I get 19 popcorns I'm making a chain. Here now I'm holding the handle like this. Look, I'm sinking into the body of the last banister I knitted. I'm sinking into my ring too. Look, I sink into the handle at the same time and pull out a loop from there. And I knit single needle. It sinks back into the body of the handrail. Look, from here, the handle is stuck in between. Like this way, we take a stitch from here and knit a single crochet on the stem. Then I immediately made the popcorn. Look, I sink into the bottom of the single needle and knit a single needle at this point. This is how I maintain my connection. Now we have frequent needles. It sinks into the tops of these and leaves a stem in between. Look, I'm knitting single needle. I dip it into the bag and look, it stays on the handle like this, and now we knit a single needle on each single needle in between. We have included the stem as well. Look, it is quite easy when you take it in your hand. You will notice this easily. Now the last single needle here is right away. There is this sliding point. I will sink into this too, so that there is no gap in between. Now I sink into the wide gap with the chain. And by sinking into the handle, I knit one single crochet. Look, right now I'm sinking to the point where the chain is. Into that wide space. One single crochet stitch here too. Now look, I'll keep it like this. That's enough. Look, we place the handle in our bag with the frequent needle technique. Now to avoid any curls here and there, I will take the stitch from the back and continue knitting from here, right from the point where I sank. Look, I'm taking my noose from here. He became very relaxed. I'm a little bored. Let's make a chain and knit a single crochet at this point. Just look at that peak. I come to the top and knit 1 or 2 single crochets at this point. You can also knit 3. It takes 3 for him to contract. So if it adds up a lot, you can do it in thirds. I'm making 2. Now take a look at this intermediate point, wide idle. Then there is a point that looks like a spike where we collect these stitches. Look, there is this point. There is also a point where we sink right at the top. We will sink these 2 points separately so that there are no excessive gaps. Now I'm stuck in this gap. 1 single crochet, then come to the top of the popcorn and pinch 2 needles. 1, 2, 1 single crochet in between, then into that wide space. We will proceed with 1 single crochet at the point where we gathered the stitches, then 2 single crochets on the popcorn. Let's complete our work in this way until the end of the row. I will do the same process in the other bag, then we will have combined the 2 into a whole. Look, we have come to the last point here. The last popcorn here is the chained one. After knitting 1 single crochet at the point, I lengthen my stitch as follows. Now, I did not knit 2 single crochets on the last corn pop here. That's enough. Now look, I cut my rope here. Now I will use a smaller numbered crochet hook. We will hide our thread here with a 3mm crochet hook. First, look here. I'm pricking the top of the single needle where we first started. I pass this rope through this point. Let's take the back side. Then lastly, I knitted the single needle's back cut line and inserted it into the single outer wing and took the thread back in from this point. By the way, we are doing it as if we had knitted a single needle. Now I will establish the connection in between. I take the thread from the back and again sink to the same point where I inserted it, and then I pass my thread from here. Look, I'm taking it to the back. That is, I'm making a connection. I'm going to take it to the back like this. We'll take it in from the point where I dropped it and hide the thread here. I do the same process for the 2 pieces. I get bored, then I'll fix it nicely at the back with the help of a small numbered crochet hook. Now look, I want to show the pieces like this. Let's hide it later. This is how we cut our ties here and finished. Now we knitted and prepared both pieces in the same way. By the way, the diameter of the bag is 20 centimeters. As I said, this measure is sufficient. When we knit 1 more row, it looks like a pretty big bag. This is such a stylish bag. It can also be used daily in the summer house. I didn't want it to be too big, but as I said, you can make another row that makes the same sense. You leave the spot where you will place the handle blank. You can also place different stems. It can be bamboo handles, it can be leather handles. It's entirely up to your taste. But the original had metal handles like this. Now we will combine these 2 parts into a whole. We will close it like this and put both pieces together in the same way. Now we will leave a small enough opening for our bag and move on to joining the edge part. Look, I left 7 single crochets here. Leaving 7 single crochets on all these edges, this little opening is enough for my bag. Now I highlighted these with safety pins. Look, I fastened it with safety pins. If you want, you can assemble our bag from the flat part, straight like me if you want. You can also combine it by turning it upside down. I immediately turn our bag upside down. We reversed it. I'll start right from this point. Look, I'm getting my rope right away. Here, I leave some rope and create a loop with a chain. I'm making a lock chain like this. I won't stretch my stitch too much. Now we start by sinking from the point where the safety pin is. Look, I'm sinking. By the way, I left 7 single crochets in all of them. I sank into the spot where his hook was. Then I sink to the point on the opposite piece. Let's make a loop at the point I determined and put the short rope in between. I start with 1 single crochet. I dipped into the point where the opposite single needles were and knitted my single needle. Then I get stuck in another needle. First, I drop a stitch into the front piece and then into the opposite piece, removing the stitch and knitting single crochet. Then we will hide this short rope. We take out a stitch and knit a single crochet by inserting mutually into each single crochet point. Look, it is a very easy joining method. I combined it in reverse. If you want, you can also combine it from the straight side. You can make a bellows in between. You can do it in different ways. It is completely up to your taste. Now look, we will continue with single crochet like this. By combining it, it looks like a hook, again to the point. We have come to the end of our turn. We knitted our single needle by dipping mutually at the point where the last safety pin was. I pull a chain like this and extend my rope long enough. I cut off my excess thread and remove it. I'll lock it like this. Now I have no use for safety pins. I'm taking these out. You can also sew a lining to this bag. You can easily sew your bag by putting the size of the bag directly on the fabric and leaving the seam length in 2 pieces. After finishing the lining at this stage, you can easily sew your bag, but you can make a nice bag that can be used without a lining. You can also put a bag inside it instead. Now that I have turned it here, I will hide my short threads. Finally, I will turn my bag, and I want to share the finished version with you right away. Let's quickly hide these threads. Look, I turned our bag to the flat part. I want to show it at the edge point. It turned out really nice. Look, there was no gap at the joining point, which we will call the bellows part. A piece that I can call really beautiful and perfect has emerged. You can use it this way if you want. You can make a bag lining inside. You can also make snaps or other closures around the mouth. And if you want to use it long, you can also wear a chain like this to the edges. I bought this bag handle and chain from AXA Knitting Boutique. I will add the link to the Instagram account in the description section below. You can access it by clicking there. It will look very stylish with such a chain if you want to use diagonal. Look, it was a really beautiful piece. It was like this in our recipe. I shared the dimensions, etc. with you. And a ball of spaghetti, that is cotton macrame yarn, was enough in this bag. If you make it in these sizes, 1 ball will be enough. But if you make it 1 row larger, you may need a 2nd ball of yarn. It is worth noting that I wish good luck to those who will do it. Do not forget to like our video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. Goodbye until we see you in the next video.